Hello everybody, welcome back to Throttle Grotto and the Z4 project. So, as you can see, I took the engine and transmission back out. Pretty easy job at this point, especially with the whole front of the car off. And now I need to start working on the transmission tunnel and the firewall behind me, which is one of the reasons I'm in the engine bay. So before I lose my voice completely, I am going to work very hard on trying to get the sheet metal work done around the transmission tunnel. Okay, with my giant carcass out of the way, you can actually see down in here now. And so I've already come through with one of my body hammers and just folded this over to make a little bit of a lip here. That's going to do two things. One, it rounded out this part of the firewall and gave it, a decent little radius where applicable. And the other thing is it gives me a lip on the inside that I can weld to and not worry about trying to weld this way and that way. So I need to reinforce some of these areas. As you can see, especially down here, there was a lot of metal that I cut through. It looks like there's 1, 2, probably 4 layers total right in this area. So we're going to use a lot thicker metal to build this back up. So that's the plan for that area, is I'm going to use like a 16 gauge metal here, which should give me back the strength in this area. This part I'm just going to tack weld together. I'm going to make this area back here a bit more concave, so the transmission tucks up nice and tight into it on both sides. And then I'm going to use some thicker metal through here, like just to plate this to make it a bit stronger. And then probably tie that stronger piece of metal into, cut this flange off a bit more flush and make that make that whole area tied in with a piece of 16 gauge. I'm hopefully building back some strength back into the car. I also may cut this stuff down and then just come through here with a couple of gussets, just to make sure that I get the strength back that this piece that I cut off initially had, because it did offer a little bit of additional stability to the whole cowl area. I think I'm no structural engineer, but I think that's one of the things that this afforded. I'm confident that it won't come apart, but I also don't want to lose chassis rigidity. Well, everyone, I came down with the cold I thought I was going to get, so I don't know how far I'm going to get today. This was one of the days I was really going to hope to try to get most of this wrapped up, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. So we're talking about the strength in the tunnel area, and I have this little sheet metal gauge to kind of show you guys what I'm working with here. And I think, if I remember correctly, this metal is an 18 gauge. Yep. You just slide the slot over whichever part slides over it, and that tells you what gauge it is. So I'm going to reinforce this area with some of this stuff that I have, which is 16 gauge, so it's a little bit thicker and not quite as easy to work with, but still flexible enough that I can form this to the tunnel a little bit. I'll probably do a sandwich of 16 gauge on either side, drill a couple of holes and weld through, and then weld to the structure on both sides, just to make sure that that part of the car is strong enough, because I don't want to crack a windshield flexing this thing over a bump or something. So one of the things that I need to do is I need to get back in the car, and I need to put the airbox back in the car. Shouldn't be a terrible process, because the only thing that's really in the way is this item holding up the whole steering column right now. All right, so I've got the airbox mostly where it's supposed to live, and it looks like good news. I think I think I'm going to have, it'll be tight, but I think I'm going to have enough room that I can go ahead and freely make all of my templates here and close everything off without without worrying about if the airbox is going to clear. So that's good news. It's good news that there's room for the harness to sit up in there, and the airbox and everything will work just like it's supposed to, and it won't really affect the interior at all because it's all of this cutting and stuff is within the outside of the inside of the car, I guess you could say. All right, I don't really know if this is the right way to do this or not, but this is the way that I'm going to do it, and hopefully it turns out. You guys will get to see how it works. So this is my my little template I made for the transmission tunnel, made out of an old waffle box, and this is modeling paper. This is like some stuff I got a while ago when a company asked me to make a template for some carpets for the Datsun Roadster. And it's just a little bit, it's like butcher paper, but it's got a bunch of little holes in it, I presume, so they just scan the holes. It was free, and I didn't have to go anywhere to get it, which, given how I'm feeling today, was a win. So I'm going to use this paper. I'm going to cut out a big chunk of it here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay this piece of paper inside of my template. I know there's probably a way to make this work where I can just lay this flat on the steel and cut it out, but honestly, I can't do it today. I just don't have my brain's not working that way today, friends. All right, what I tried to do was kind of roll the template across the paper. Let's see if that works. All right, here is our piece for our transmission tunnel. Yes, I did have to make it in two pieces. I mean, it's a transmission tunnel. It's probably going to have to be cut and welded anyway. It's all going to be welded in. I just ran out of 16 gauge metal, so I wanted to use 16 gauge on the tunnel to make that happen. So I had one piece of it, and I got these two pieces here, which are the ones that go around there, both on the inside and outside. All right, I'm really not feeling that much better, but progress still has to be made. I'm going to take my pieces over to my workbench. So I had an idea on how to form. So I needed something round to form the metal around, and I came up with this. Doesn't matter if it gets scratched up, it just goes on top of the welding bottle when I return it. So hopefully I can do this. It should hold it in place enough to use as a form. So I'm just going to leave the end of this hanging off the end of the vise. Hopefully I clamped it enough in there that, but I'm just going to try initially just doing it by hand and just keep trying to come up with ways to bend it around things here in the shop until I get it close to what I have here. I'll also have to try to put a little bit more bend in the center. Just trying to figure it out here with junk I have laying around. The process will be trying to form this around different things here in the shop and making it work until I get a decent amount of bend in the product. So I can clamp this in the vise and kind of use this as a basis for my bending, knowing that I will probably have to make some additional bends here, but you can see, well, maybe you can't see. I'm trying to show you, but it's not that far off really on this side. The other side is way far off. Keep playing around with it here and see what I can do. All right, after several times in and out of the car, it still doesn't fit right. It's getting closer. I'm still doing hammering and bending and trying to make it fit. The temptation is at this point is just to kind of bend it up into place and weld it and then form it as it goes. I don't have the metalworking skills to get this contour just right. All right, the idea I had didn't work at all, and that was I was going to push it up from the center. I have a tack weld on the side and in the front. So I think now I can push this up with the jack and the piece of wood and get it to at least hold the form so I can tack it in up here. Given the fact that I'm still not 100%, I'll say this is going well. But it's not. It's going okay. Like, I think if it wasn't for the fact that there were welds there and all the dash and everything was out, you probably would never know that there had been a replacement. So I still have things to do before this portion of the repair is wrapped up. These pieces that I need to install both sides, I still need to fill that hole that I made, and I still need to weld those pieces up. All right, I'm still sick. Yeah, you can tell my voice sounds pretty good. So no welding tonight. I decided that I'm going to put the fuel tank in. The fuel tank is taking up a bunch of room here in the shop, and the best way to get it out of the way is to put it away. That sounds like something your mother would say when you're supposed to be cleaning your room. Anyway, it's pretty straightforward. Except for I have a charging port in the way. I did not plan on that for tonight. All right, well, let's see what's involved in getting this charging port out of the way. That's a pretty clever place to put it, though. I'll give them that. All right, I think this will be pretty easy to do. I just got to remove this whole wheel well liner, which means I got to take the wheel off, take the wheel well liner out, and I should be able to access the backside of this, take out whatever bracket's holding it in, and then the whole fuel pump assembly will just push right up into the car. And then this goes through the little hole that is already there where the wires are coming through for the charging port. And then I already have the straps, and then I can deal with the fuel tank or the fuel lines later. All right, I got the wheel liner out, and there is our plug. And there is where the previous owner ran the wires through the hole for the extra what do you call it, recovery tube. And then there's one wire that runs up here all the way down to the ground, which is red, which I don't understand, but it does look like the previous owner did a decent job of wiring. All right, let's see here. I think I got it figured out. I found a something 64ths Allen, and I can just get to the back side of all these. So I will start the arduous process of undoing them all, very, very little bits at a time. I hereby de-electrify you in the name of the sauerkraut and the pasta and the adult beverages. Now that that little nugget is out of there, I hope that this looks like someone splooched in a piece to change the diameter of this here. Okay, that took way longer than I would have liked it to, but I think, aside from the lower cross brace, I think I'm ready to put the fuel tank in. All right, cross brace is off. I also undid the e-brake assembly because this whole nightmare was in the way. This is one of the things about quick jacks that is a little more difficult, is that you only have so much room underneath the car. And when it comes time to do stuff like this, where you have to pivot and move things around, now that I've got this chassis brace off of here and the camera out of the way, will this pivot and flex enough to allow me to do what I came out here to do? And the answer is probably not. Okay, sadness report. I've got the subframe sitting on the transmission jack right now, and now I have to climb back up front and climb all the way to the back of the car to see if I've given myself enough room to get that turd up into position. Okay, I'm feeling a little better today. Still not 100%, but I got to get stuff done because nobody else is going to get this done for me. I made the template for I got one of these pieces welded in underneath the car, but I made a template for the other one, and this is it. It's pretty crude, but you kind of get the point. Like, I need to make this part flat and then add the bend here, and then tack it together and trim it up to fit inside the place that I'm putting it. All right, this is my spot that I'm working on here. I still need to go through and clean up the edge with a Scotch-Brite pad. I've already done the driver's side and the tunnel, which I have a little bit of work to finish up down here to make this not look terrible, even though it'll be covered by a transmission. And I had some issues with my welder and the welding speed and popping holes and stuff, but I rectified that. Now I know that I'm going to have to do the trim and bend and trim and bend and all that kind of stuff. And that's okay. I kind of figured that this would happen as part of this process. This already fits in here pretty good, and I have to kind of hammer and bend this thing into shape to make it fit. And then also what I did is I tucked it in behind this little piece here on the other side. All right, after a few bendy bends, this is where I ended up. It's not perfect. I've got some gaps that I'm not 100% happy with. But I think once I start welding it, this will expand a little bit here. It's in the transmission tunnel, and I made this out of some really heavy gauge metal. So, but I'm going to tack this all up. I'm going to also move it around a little bit. I've just got it kind of magneted loosely in here so it doesn't fall on my face. All right, we are on day 400, it feels like. But the tunnel is all welded up. Now we're going to start on adding this piece around here to replace, hopefully, whatever stiffness this provided. And I'm using this piece of 16 gauge that I got, and I crudely shaped and put a few little bends in it and pre-drilled so I can install that in that portion of the tunnel. Or I get an at least you tried cake. So I'm not going to bore you with the montage of welding, but I'm going to get this welded in, get the inside in, and then I'll show you the results. That was a lot of work, a lot more work than I anticipated. And it doesn't look amazing. You're right, it looks like crap. You're right, crap is a very nice way to describe how this looks. I think I've added enough in here. I don't know, I'm no engineer, but I've got 16 gauge plate in the transmission tunnel and a 16 gauge piece here. I'm going to take my chances. I think this is going to be okay. I don't think that this is gonna flex to the moon, especially once we put the plates on the front here, and we can upgrade the plates down here. But yeah, I'm not going to get invited to any welding conventions this year, which is a little bit of a disappointment. I was really hoping on going to some welding conventions, and I have a lot of flap wheeling to do to get this to look nice. All right, while I'm waiting for the primer in the transmission tunnel to dry, I figured I'd take a look at the trunk, because I got to do something about this. There is pieces that are supposed to hold the bottom of the battery tray is supposed to hold the rear bumper in place, and all that got taken away when they took the battery tray and the trunk floor out. So I got to come up with a solution, and the solution might be making my own battery box. The big issue with the two boxes back here is that it took away a lot of room that I can do exhaust stuff with. So I might do a flat floor with just a little cutout for a battery, or see if I can put a battery over here, or up there. I'm not exactly sure where the spare tire went in this car. Yeah, I don't see a mount for a spare tire. So maybe this, hopefully. Anyway, I'm gonna see if this is held in. Oh, and it looks like, yes, it's just held in by Stickum, which is great. Oh, no, there's a weld. There's a few welds on this. Well, let's see what kind of success I can have getting this thing out. All right, the trunk is now cut out. You can see here the factory trunk pan is still intact all the way around, which is nice. I'll have some solid metal here to weld to. It would be great if I found someone parting out. I wish I would have cut out the trunk from the one that I saw at Pick Apart about a month and a half ago. I was like, nah, I don't know, we'll see. Well, now I see I should have gotten it. But I just shot some of my underbody coating on here to keep it from like getting any worse. I used this stuff, SEM Easy Coat in olive green. I've read about this on one of the E46 forums, saying that that was a pretty good match for the factory goop, and it does look like it's a pretty good match. You can see here the factory stuff, especially if I'm not like like over lighting it. Next step will be to finish getting all of the seam sealer on all of this stuff, and then a couple more coats of the easy coat in the tunnel. I still have a bunch of grinding to do, but that is tomorrow Jeff's problem, not today Jeff's problem. I also have a bunch of cleanup to do on the inside with like a wire wheel, and get all of that prepped and get something on that. So I know it's not pretty, but it's done. And I mean, aside from me doing the rest of the work. Okay, apologies to those of you that enjoy time-lapse photography or video. I skipped a whole bunch of stuff. But here's where we're at with the Z4 at the end of this video. The tunnel is done. Applied seam sealer. Let's leave it at that. Seam sealer that I had. Let's just say I cut the tube open and applied it with a spatula and my fingers. So it doesn't look. It's on there, and from here it doesn't look bad. The nice thing is, with an engine in the way and some engine bay colored paint on there, you won't know the difference. I'm probably going to have to go tomorrow morning and get a can of whatever this stuff is, and just like shoot the chassis legs and the top part of the tunnel, just to kind of bring back some color in here. Trans tunnel is all sealed up and painted in the Z coat, easy coat, whatever that stuff is from SEM. And it matches pretty good, actually. So if you need some underbody paint, that's your jam. And then inside the car, that is all seam sealed and sprayed in the same mess. And the trunk is ready for whatever I decide to do with the trunk. I'm not ready for the trunk yet, but I'm ready in case I find a trunk. Yep, and there's my incriminating evidence right over there. So this was a really big job. I can't say that I did a great job at it. I did an okay job. I think I got the job done. Those of you that do this professionally will undoubtedly have stopped watching by now, or kept watching to see how bad it got. Anywho, there's a whole bunch of chemicals baking in here, and I'm still not 100% feeling great. So I'm going to call it for tonight. I'll say do all the things that all your favorite YouTubers tell you to do. You all know what it is. You've been around this planet long enough. You've been watching YouTube for a while, so you know what to do. Tell your friends about this channel. But the good thing about getting all this work done is that we're done taking the car apart. Like, I don't have to take the car apart any further. Not that there's much left to take apart. But once this is all said and done, I can put the carpet back in, clean up the floor, put the carpet in. I can put the heater box in. I can put the cross brace back on for the dash, bolt the steering column back up, put the engine and stuff back in, order some kind of shifter. I think I have a plan for the shifter. I might order that tonight and get that coming. Get the interior back in, get all this stuff. And then seats. I have seats for this car, not the stock ones. I still got to come up with a plan for the accelerator pedal. We're getting there. We're getting there, friends. So you guys know the deal. Thank you for watching. And until next time, get out there and work on something.